Hello, my favorite people. Thank you so much for coming back for another mini lesson. And here we are talking about sentence structure, commas. I hope that you caught my other videos about editing and commas. And if you haven't, take a look on my Facebook page or Instagram, and you will find them there. Sentence structure. So sentence structure commas, that's kind of a name that I label these kinds of commas with. So the first thing we have introductory words or phrases. So when you are editing, some words are sometimes just kind of plunked at the beginning of a sentence, all right? And when that happens, we put a comma, okay? So every day, comma, I go to the gym. Now, we could have written that I go to the gym every day, right? But we want to emphasize every day I go to the gym. Well, I don't go to the gym, but I wish I went to the gym. Does that count? All right, I am just shooting for 8 minutes, and that's not happening. So, full disclosure, I do not go to the gym every day. Okay, every day, comma, I go to the gym. So we do a comma because this piece is not a sentence. So it's an introductory words. Every so often, comma, I skip a day. So again, we could have written it the other way, but we just put it at the beginning. I skip a day every so often. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you. If not, you know where to leave your questions down below in the comments. Okay, so here we have a sentence reversal commas. And the reason I have put this here is because when we talk about sentence reversals, people sometimes get that confused with introductory words and phrases. Okay, but grammar police, close your ears, all right? It doesn't really matter whether you know it's a sentence reversal or if you think it's an introductory phrase. As long as you put the comma, it doesn't really matter. Because in the real world, no one's going to pull you aside and say, hey, what was the reason you put that comma there? Was it because it was a sentence reversal or was it because it's an introductory phrase? No one's going to ask that question. If you get the comma correct, congratulations, you got the comma correct. But there is a very good reason to understand sentence reversals, and that's why I'm covering that here. Okay, so I lose my momentum whenever I miss a day. So let's look at this in two sentences put together with a connector word, because that's what a complex sentence is. A complex sentence, they make it sound so hard. It's not hard at all. A complex sentence is just two independent sentences, like this and like this, that we have connected together with this word, and this is called a subordinating conjunction. You do not need to know that, but just so you know, that's what it is. And this subordinating conjunction does kind of a magic thing. Is whenever you add a subordinating conjunction in the middle of two separate independent clauses, independent sentences, this conjunction super glues itself onto the last sentence, and then it's forever stuck. Okay? We no longer have an independent clause, an independent sentence. Now we have whenever I miss a day. Is whenever I miss a day a complete sentence now? No. What if I came up to you and I said, hey, whenever I miss a day, you're going to say, what? Whenever you miss a day, what? So this is not a complete sentence. So how do we know if something is a complete sentence? If it's a complete sentence, if it has a subject and a verb and a complete thought. So even though this has a subject and a verb, it does not have a complete thought without the rest of this. So now this becomes a dependent clause. This dependent clause can be at the beginning of the sentence or at the end of the sentence. But here's the tricky thing. When it's in the middle, this connector word, it never ever gets a comma. Oh, so how do I know if I have a subordinating conjunction or not? Okay, that's the question. Now, the definition of a complex sentence is two sentences connected by a conjunction, that's a connector word, that is not a fanboys. Then what's a fanboys? Okay, fanboys is just a fancy list of 7 words that are coordinating conjunctions. And coordinating conjunctions are connecting 2 sentences that are independent, but they stay independent. So the reason that it matters that we learn fanboys is because, well, I found a list today of 100 different subordinating conjunctions. I'm sure it was not exhaustive. There are different classes and categories of them. There are so many subordinating conjunctions. I don't want to memorize them. You don't want to memorize them. Okay? So what we do is instead, we memorize these 7. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. And we're going to get to that. There's going to be a whole lesson just on fanboys. So don't worry about that. So we need to know these 7, because if it is not one of these, ding, ding, it is one of these. And that means it does not get a comma. Okay? Super easy. As long as you know it's not for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so, it does not get a comma. Make sense? I hope so. Okay, so here we go. I lose my momentum, I skip a day. And we could say when. So now we can say I lose my momentum when I skip a day. So we've added this subordinating conjunction in the middle. It super glues itself to the end. But when is not a fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or, yet. So it does not get a comma. No comma here. All right, no comma. The pink means no comma. All right. But the fun thing is, remember back in one of the other lessons, I said, make your sentences different. Sometimes you want to switch them around. This is what I mean. You can take the end of the sentence and you can plop it at the beginning of the sentence. When I skip a day, I lose my momentum. Oh, now this looks like an introductory phrase or an introductory clause, right? And really what it is it's a dependent clause or a subordinate clause, mostly called a dependent clause. But as long as you know to put a comma here, that's what really matters. So if you identify this as an introductory clause, that's fine. Or as a dependent clause, it gets a comma. It never gets a comma when the connector's in the middle of the word, in the middle of the sentence, but it gets a comma when it's at the beginning of the sentence. Okay, so so many of these, 100 plus more, okay? So when we have this, okay, something with a connector word, we ask ourselves, first of all, are they 2 complete sentences? Does it have a subject? Does it have a verb? And here's the definitions of subject and verb, just to remind you. Does it have a subject? Does it have a verb? So we have 2 complete sentences. If yes, continue. Are they connected with a word in the middle? Oh, yes, they're connected with a word in the middle. Okay, so if yes, continue. Is that connector word a fanboys? No. Okay. If no, then no comma. If yes, skip to the fanboys questions, which we're going to learn in another lesson. Okay, if you have questions about sentence reversals or about introductory words and phrases and the commas they get, pop it down in the comments. I look forward to hearing from you. Have an awesome day, everybody.